go and find what. Let's just start off because I'm gonna find it. But Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Moon Knight's been announced.
The Crescent God.
Yeah, this has been a fan favorite of the Geekverse for a while. We're just having a great year with Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh, the year of Morbius, the year of Moon Knight, just not what I was
Taskmaster.
expecting.
Yeah. All these minor people. We just need Feige to buy Hannibal and resurrect it. You know, that's the only thing that's left in the Geekverse world.
Make
that
like
Caecilius,
like in his past life, he was Hannibal.
Madness of the Multiverse. Doctor Strange at one point goes into
that's
there.
The what if I want to see.
Yeah, and Will's like, who are you? And he's bugging out. But Moon Knight is one of my favorite Marvel characters. I'm very excited, and this one I'm going to throw to you because this, I also think as a TV show is a good call because this is a really leveled character. This is a character at times who is split personality disorder. He's schizophrenic, but that's the thing where I think as a TV show this works better. I also think as a movie, I honestly don't think he's a big enough name to open it. People will throw the Guardians and Ant-Man at me. I get it, but still, if you're thinking about the levels of it, I think Moon Knight TV is perfect, and they've said multiple times that these are not like the Netflix shows. He could cross over, come over. You don't think there's a chance Moon Knight and Blade might be popping off together, those Marvel Knights?
That was definitely cruising around in my brain, yeah.
So what I'll throw to you is there's two versions of Moon Knight. That when he was created, he started as a war vet, he became a mercenary, he ended up in Egypt, and he almost got nearly killed, and he was taken to this...
That's fucking wild.
Oh, yeah. He has a crazy story. He gets taken to this temple by these, like, prophets, and these gods supposedly put these powers in him and say, you're, like, our prophet now, and you're representing the gods, and that's how he gets the, I think I'm saying it right, the Kung Shu powers and, like, the moon crescents and all that. And
that actually happened, or that's in his head?
Well, this is the thing. And when it started, I think that's what actually happened. And then what happened is he came back as Mark Spector, and he created two identities as well. Jake Lockley, he's a cab driver, so he did that so he could kind of hear what's going on in the streets and stuff like that. So he'd be picking up some scuzzy people, ask them for questions, just in general conversation. And then there's another personality or persona he created called Stephen Grant, and he's like a philanthropist because he took all these jewels from Egypt and became a billionaire. So that's the OG version. But now, in one of my favorite runs, and we're gonna read this, we're probably gonna do a comic book show in 2020. Look out! But they took it and they made it that those personalities, those personas are split personalities. So there's like Stephen Grant now is a movie producer, and like Mark Spector is a crazy guy in an asylum, and then Jake Lockley is still the cab driver, and then you have Moon Knight and these like Egyptian gods in him. What do you think's the route they're going to go? Are they going to go with kind of the almost Batman detective approach of this guy taking on different personas to fight crime? Or are they going to go the schizophrenic? Because that's the thing I've always loved, and I'm showing my hand what I want. But I love that they always play up in these newer runs, especially the 2016 run, is are these gods actually given powers, or is he just a fucking crazy guy? And they never answer that. They let that up to you. And
I would hope they keep it ambiguous.
Yeah, and we're fans of Hannibal, and that's the way I would love if Brian Fuller, who did Hannibal, showrun this show. But the way with Will, when he never knew what was what, that's Mark Spector. And that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think they'll go? Because that schizophrenic thing, I think, is very popular right now for the character, not in the world.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different can of worms for Disney. It's a bit deeper than just a guy being like, I'm going to create 3 different personas to hide behind, right? So what are you thinking?
I think that fits more into the realm of like the realism, I guess you could say, that's established in the MCU, instead of like having some Egyptian gods that are giving him some otherworldly powers. Like, yes, obviously there is aliens. We
are
Thor
getting vampires though now too.
Oh shit, that's correct.
Right?
Yeah,
we're getting weird.
Honestly, Blade cracks open the can on just like
absurdity
is now welcomed and probably just around the corner. I don't know. I think I guess when I picture Moonlight, I've always thought like, oh man, he could have fit in well with those Netflix shows. I will say I don't really know a whole lot about the character. What I know is pretty much what I've heard Travis talk about the last couple of years. Really, I didn't even know who he was until Ultimate Alliance. The first one, now he's lengthily getting added
nunchucks
in just a couple of months to Ultimate Alliance 3. But I don't really know too much about the character. But I would say I want it to be more grounded and like based in real life, and he's just kind of like a crazy guy.
Yeah, who may or may not have powers.
Like I very much picture the Marvel Netflix shows, and I think that kind of aesthetic would work with that. And then that's fun because you could play it off, and that could work with like he could go into a movie someday. He could be a villain, he could be a good guy, or he could just be like an anti-hero somewhere in between. And that could be really fun. You have someone like, and honestly, you could change it from movie to movie. He could come back, he could pop in and out, and it's just really exciting because it is such an out there character.
Oh yeah, and it's one that I think we genuinely like. I would put him in the Blade category too when it was announced. We want Moon Knight, but I always thought there was a chance this didn't happen. Or if you look at Hulu, Hulu has 3 Marvel shows happening in the future. One of them is Ghost Rider. And to me, and those aren't connected to the MCU at all. And that to me shows those are clearly the toys Kevin Feige has no interest in. And
Right.
I apologize to Ghost Rider fans and Taylor, but I've always gotten that vibe from Feige where he's like, no, I'm not real. That's not something I want in here.
Mm-hmm.
Him even being just in the Disney Plus. Moon Knight
Yeah.
is a Disney app show. That shows that whether he's
It's pretty wild.
well,
honestly.
yeah, and that's another thing I want to throw. This is reported by Deadline, which is weird. There's been talks of doing a Defenders-like team, but the Defenders in the comics were like Doctor Strange, the Hulk, and there's rumors going
Yeah.
around now that they're going to have like a Defenders-like movie that are going to take maybe the weird outcast characters. So when we were like, oh, will Blade be in the Avengers? He might not be. He might be in this like because what was the rumored roster that was going around was Doctor Strange, Valkyrie, Hulk, and Deadpool,
Mm-hmm.
and even Luke Cage when his rights came up. Moon Knight, Blade could easily fit in that team, and then you kind of have that
it makes
Guardians
more
thing.
sense too, right? Because like.
Yeah. The outcasts.
Yeah, exactly, and
The weirdos.
and even then, like Blade, like why you'd have to think about some of these cosmic things. Like obviously, everyone should care if Thanos is going to snap
Yeah,
you
yeah.
potentially away, but a lot of it's like, why would Blade care about that? He's
How
more,
many vampires?
yeah, like how many
I'm
vampires
good.
does Thanos have in his control?
Yeah. He got
0. I don't care.
He got 80%. He's fine. I'm not going after him. See ya.
He'll snap away all the vampires. I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
those anyway.
Thanos, I'll give you the stones. He's got to snap away those vampires. Not my
Yeah.
mother, though. Don't do it. But yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting if they do a team up movie like that in like on the app, because that just seems like crazy. Like
I don't think they do the movie on the app. I think
No?
they would do the movie in theatrical, and that'd be your way to bring in Moon Knight. And it's kind of like what they're doing with
that's
Scarlet Witch,
tricky,
right?
yeah, because that's like if that is the case, and
But they're doing that with Witch, right? They said that show connects to Doctor Strange, so they're gonna be they're experimenting.
it's going to be relevant. Yeah,
And we're going to talk about it in a second, but Feige did go on record. He said Miss Marvel will be in movies. She's not just a TV show.
Right,
so
right.
they're experimenting, and they're literally telling you of like, we hope you enjoyed the Infinity Saga, but if you want to get the full journey again, you got to get this app, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like that's the thing.
and
so.
it's a good way for them to experiment. I mean, obviously on an app like this, they can see the exact stats of who's watching, who's interested in what.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
maybe
that's a good
maybe
point.
people
Yeah.
don't like Moon Knight. Maybe they just do
Yep.
one season. Maybe he's not part of the team up. Maybe they kill him off, whatever. And they can make that decision in time.
He's a small enough character. He's a
Mhm.
New York crime fighter. Like, obviously, sometimes he's empowered by Egyptian gods, but like the deal is that if he is just fighting crime in New York,
Yeah.
he doesn't have to be a part of something,
Yeah.
you know. Or even then, just like the way when the portals happen in Endgame, he could just if that a moment like that happened again, he could
Mhm.
come out for a little bit and fight. but
Oh,
he doesn't-
exactly. Yeah, that's the perfect thing. It's just like more fun little
Oh.
Easter eggs to point out in those like big team up movies if they want to use it.